fully focused shows this week. 3.5. We've got 4 hours to find about 5.5 hours of TV. We're going to deliver to you.
How did you mess that math up too?
3.
It's 5.
4.5, 5. I count
even.
content time.
Okay, got it.
I'm not counting commercial time or promos.
Yeah.
It's first things first. We're back today. The Chiefs bulletin board also back off vacation.
Wow.
One executive making their debut. Also, maybe a fellow media member. I'm not sure. We discussed it.
Maybe.
That kind of goes against the rules and spirit of the program.
Greenberg wouldn't mind.
Meanwhile, All-Star game tonight on Fox. Coverage starts at 7. A-Rod joins us to talk about Judge, Ohtani, Soto, and my guy, Paul Skeens. I'm putting a claim on Paul Skeens.
Do you think he's mad at you on behalf of Anthony Edwards, since Anthony Edwards is mad at you?
Paul Skeens, no.
No.
And finally, Micah Parsons finally agrees with Brew. Oh, he's dropping the podcast? No. But he thinks the Cowboys are S-Bob alongside.
Does he?
Of course they are.
Well, I'm Kevin Wildes alongside Nick Wright.
Welcome to the party.
Brew, are you happy that Micah now believes the Cowboys are also S-Bob?
He's listening to the show, which I'm happy with.
Listening or
And,
a good podcast?
I'll help him out this
Watching
year.
it all or just listening?
Well, watching and listening.
Look how brown my hair looks. Wow.
I know.
Something about that salt water. It's like great right now.
This guy.
Feeling
Salt
good to
water
see
with
you
hair
guys.
dye.
I miss you guys a lot.
I wish I could say this. We start with Jeremy Fowler's yearly survey of executives, coaches, and scouts, which has delivered a few bombshells here. Top 10 QB list. Mahomes at number 1, but not unanimous. More on that in a second. Joe Burrow, Allen, Lamar, the reigning MVP, who I don't know is 60-23
Respect
all
on
time.
my guy Matt Stafford's name. How about that? It's right where he was in the mountain, too.
Overrated.
Okay.
Who's saying that? Josh Frisky. Herbert, Stroud, Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown for you.
Interesting list.
Goff, and then finally Dak. So we'll start with Dak at 10. Here's his stats last year for being the 10th best quarterback in the league.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't see any 10s on there. So, Dak too high, too low, or just right?
Brew, I truly don't know where you're going to stand on this. We never talked before the show, but we also haven't talked in 10 days. Bruce been.
I've been
You were on the
gallivanting.
island.
So I'm
nice,
curious
pretty
what
tan.
you're going to say, but I think this is basically the exact right spot for Dak. Even if I might have a couple guys who were behind him ahead of him and a couple guys who were ahead of him behind him. You know what I mean? Like but I think 10th best quarterback in the league is almost exactly right, especially because it seems like rookies were ineligible for this list. So if you're really high on Caleb like me or Jaden or Drake or whomever.
I don't know if they were ineligible. I just don't know if anyone's putting Caleb top 10.
Well, no, I don't think I mean.
You want Drake May top 10?
No, I
maybe?
don't think any rookie has ever, when they've done this,
Yeah, nobody's
gotten top 10 votes. So they're de facto ineligible.
Yeah.
So, and that's why this is such a tough spot for Dallas, bro. Because he's clearly not in there's the Mahomes tier, then there is that tier right beneath it, which I think we all kind of agree on mostly who's in that. Lamar is in it, Josh Allen's in it, Burrow's in it. And he's clearly also better than guys like Baker or Kirk post Achilles, I think. I would say Tua in that, but I know we don't have to argue about it. He is somewhere in that meaty middle of good. And you love that quarterback on a rookie deal. You're fine with that quarterback on a good deal. And you're terrified of that quarterback on the highest, being the number 1 paid guy in the league, which is the spot Dallas finds themselves in. But as far as the actual pen-to-paper rankings, about 10 to me, Brew, is exactly right.
Yeah, I'm not mad at your analysis of that. I think there are a group of 7, 8 guys or so that are, any given year will go from 8 to 15 or whatever.
Correct.
Here are the 6 that are on that list behind Dak that you might want to argue. Someone might want to argue for. Tua, Jordan Love, Cousins, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, and Brock Purdy.
Yes.
And I'm going to kind of compare each one to Dak. Tua, just no. Just no. I'm not putting him ahead of Dak.
Just no.
I mean, just first of all, okay, 1 healthy season in 4 years, and can't beat any good teams. 1-6 against playoff teams,
and
then
God forbid
a brisk
chilly.
win. A brisk win. It'll be a little bit
the
chilly,
wind is okay
and
with
you're
the
done.
chilly.
All right, so Tua's out.
Correct.
Jordan Love, only half a year of great production.
True.
All right, so let's just see a little more. I think I will say this.
You
I
like
do think,
Love more than Dak, but you haven't seen it
Yeah,
enough?
but I just want to see a little more.
That's fair.
Okay.
I think this year Jordan will move ahead of Dak. So this season, at some point this season. Kirk Cousins, you said he's 36, he's coming off the Achilles, and he has a similar problem to Dak, but probably even worse.
Exactly
Just hasn't
right.
been able to win big games, but is even worse in primetime games. Jalen Hurts, one great year out of four, though.
I thought you would have Jalen ahead of Dak.
Yeah, I mean,
You like
I
Jalen
might,
more
but
than you like Dak.
get like he's only had one great season.
Yeah.
And you can say the first one he wasn't really a starter.
Yeah.
But 3 seasons he's had one great season.
He has to get penalized for the supernatural funk as well.
It wasn't really his fault though.
Well, he wasn't the solution to the supernatural funk.
Well, he will be this year. Watch.
Okay.
All right. So Jay, Trevor hasn't been great. Can we
Yeah,
agree? Hasn't been great since college.
Trevor
so I'm
doesn't
not saying
deserve to
he
be ahead
makes
of
it
Dak.
different. Right. You can't put. I mean, really, he hasn't been
balled
great
out.
since college.
Much like Jalen Hurts, one great year.
Right.
Yes.
Then the one
And a half a
guy, Brock Purdy.
Oh, this guy.
And
We're
look,
gonna do
we're
Brock
gonna do a
Purdy
whole
just-
Purdy thing.
just-
No, we're gonna do a whole
we're
Purdy
doing
thing.
the whole Purdy
I
segment.
got a lot of Purdy
I know,
stuff.
but Purdy is coming up.
I got a lot of Purdy stuff.
A3.
I got more. Look, here's the first thing.
No, do not show the Purdy
Look.
graphics. What are we
Purdy,
doing?
and I got more. Believe me, I'm not gonna exhaust the tank. All right, I got plenty.
This guy
Purdy
loves
has
Purdy.
proven to be able to do what Dak can't, which is play well in
This
the
is
playoffs.
out of
agree. That's why we should talk about it at
No, he's
12.
my guy. I am moving him to 10.
Okay.
Ahead
That's
of
the
Dak.
Brock Purdy
So
guy.
that's I got more when we get there, but
got
I'm
it.
just giving
But we're
you
not-
a
okay, that's a
little
teaser.
tease.
So, but
Yes.
okay, but to be
He's just been better in the big
all
game.
right, that's fine. But to be clear, your answer to this is just right.
It's a group.
Right.
I make an argument for Dak?
Go
'Cause
ahead.
I don't
On
think-
behalf of Dak or
Yes.
against him?
Oh, no, pro Dak.
Okay, yeah.
And I will take my editorial leadership hat of Walking Boot Weekly off.
Walking boot. Okay, yeah, I forgot.
Because he was in a
Oh, yeah,
walking
that's
boot,
right.
and that always sends tremors
Hobble
through the
watch.
staff of
It was
Walking Boot.
nothing, though.
Well, he's in a walking boot.
Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it was
Go ahead.
Well, front page news, Walking Boot Weekly. In any event, if I'm Dak Prescott, he's on the show. We had A-Rod on the show coming up,
Yeah.
and Dak Prescott here. He's like, "Hey guys, heard the segment. Did you see the full screen there where I completed the highest percentage of passes out of any quarterback, and I also threw the most touchdowns, so I was the most accurate, and I threw the most touchdowns. That seems to be better than 10th, statistically." And you're
then-
like, "What? You didn't produce in one game against the Packers in the playoffs." Like, I get it, but I was balling out all year.
Okay. So the
Why am I at 10?
If he and the answer to that would be if you feel bad, imagine how Tua feels. Because Tua's got like it done.
Give
At
Tua a
least
call.
we are what I,
Lament
if I
together.
may, we are all at least consistent on this. Wilds as well. Wilds thinks Brew and I are too hard on Tua. And I think he thinks Brew and I are. I don't even know if too hard on Dak. I don't think this is a knock on Dak. The only to me guy that all of us would have ahead of Dak, that I think Dak would have a real gripe that all three of us, or at least Brew and I, have ahead of, is Justin Herbert. I think he's the only one that Dak might
he
say,
hasn't
wait
done
a
it.
minute.
Right.
You're
holding it against me,
You're
why
holding it
not
against
him?
me. This guy's 0-1 in the playoffs.
That's right.
And has a meltdown, and that is like, yeah, it's the eye test thing, and sorry.
And
so,
his youth, that
Right.
you expect him to
But
improve a little bit.
everyone else that we, not necessarily that is on the list ahead of him, but that we, all three of us, would unanimously say is ahead of him, has great regular season numbers and postseason success to go along with it on their resume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One asterisk. I would have Dak ahead of this guy.
Well, yeah, I would too.
Coming in at
I
number
think
8.
we all would.